What's going on, guys? Jim Surratt, Hammer Strength Conditioning, coming at you today. Want to do a gear review now that I'm getting into some more single-ply lifting as compared to multiply. Okay, so the last gear review that I did was for the F8 stuff. F8 makes great multiply gear. Okay, so for those of you who you probably all know this, but for those of you who don't know, single plies, you wear supportive equipment or a supportive suit or a bench shirt, and it's one layer of material. Okay, whereas multiply is multiple layers of material, so multi-plies, right? So with multiply, you get more support by virtue of having more layers, right? So the layers don't have to be as stiff or as resistant to deformation as single ply does. So gear works on the concept of compression, or on the principles of compression and deformation, right? So the suit or the shirt provides compression, helps protect the joints, helps keep the muscles and the joints stable and locked in place. And it also operates on the principle of deformation. So if I have a squat suit, and if I come down, that gear, the material of the gear is stretching and deforming, right? And then as you stand up, the gear, because of its pseudo-elastic nature, wants to return to its natural shape, so it provides the support on the way down and the rebound on the way back up, right? So that's how gear works, pretty simple. So I've used pretty much everything now as far as multiply. I started off in metal, and then I got into Inzer. I used the Inzer Predators for a long time, and then I used the Inzer LUP, the lace up, and then I got into using Titan briefs. I've tried the Titan squat suit, the Boss squat suit. It's not for me. I like a canvas squat suit versus a poly suit. And then I picked up a metal canvas jack squatter, which was a phenomenal suit, right? And so again, for those of you who aren't tracking, F8 has partnered with Metal to use Metal's cuts, Metal's patterns with F8's materials to create poly or multiply gear, right? So again, F8 provides the material, as far as I'm tracking, provides the material, and Metal does the patterning, right? So because of that, Metal makes pretty good cuts, fairly good patterns, right? Now the material is not ideal, right? The material is not as great as it could be, in my opinion. I feel like Metal's material has kind of outdated itself, or has been outdated, except for their canvas squat suit. So when I'm in multiply, what I currently use is 4-ply F8 HD briefs, so heavy duty briefs, super thick, super supportive, great rebound. And then I use an F8 canvas squat suit as well, which is the same thing as the metal squat suit. It's just from F8 directly instead of from Metal. So it's a newer version, or newer product. Okay, but my situation here in Arizona is that there's really not many opportunities for multiply competition. I did one in October. I had the F8 hybrid canvas poly suit. It was a little too big. I didn't really like it that much, so I got rid of it, or I sold it. And so now the next time I go multiply, I'm gonna go back to my canvas suit, my full-blown canvas one-piece suit. But because there aren't many opportunities for multiply competition here in Arizona, I'm now doing single ply because raw is just terrible. And I still like lifting in gear, I just don't have the opportunity to do so multiply. So, because of that, we've been experimenting with single ply gear. I started off with an F8 single ply suit. Good suit, well constructed, great. So everything about F8 is great, right? They make fantastic products, great builds, great quality, very sturdy construction. But with single ply, because you only have one layer of material, you want things to be as stiff as possible. Now, I will say again that F8 does great with multiply. Single ply, not so much in my opinion, right? I think their strength really comes from their multiply stuff, and then obviously their banded shirts. But their single ply stuff is not as great. And that is coming from a position of having used the squat suit for both squat and deadlift, as well as the open back single ply F8 bench shirt, which just wasn't supportive enough for what I need. Now, maybe for somebody else, right? But because of my 2 herniations in my neck and the way that affects my triceps on my left side, I need a lot of support. I need a very stiff collar. I need someone who can provide a lot of rebound, a lot of support, a lot of power off the chest. And the F8 single ply open back bench shirt just didn't do that for me. So because of that, I moved into Titan gear. So what I'm gonna do today is finally get to the point and do a review of, I have a whole kit, meaning all 3 pieces of Titan single-ply gear. So we're gonna start off with the squat suit. So this is the Titan single-ply Centurion squat suit, or Super Centurion squat suit. This is a great suit. I've squatted 655 in this so far at about 242. Definitely room left in the tank, I think, for somewhere in the maybe not upper 7s, but low to mid 7s for sure. And I was in sleeves, so once we get some wraps on, get used to that, and get used to walking it out. That's the hard part about single plies, is you usually have to walk it out. Like if you're at a USPA meet, which is the sort of popular federation here in Arizona, you have to walk out your squats. And I'm just not used to doing that because I've been a multiply and monolifts for my whole lifting career, okay? But anyway, the Super Centurion squat suit, great suit, very well constructed, super thick or super broad. Straps up here provide lots of support. They're very sturdy, great stitching. The suit itself, from a patterning perspective, has these sort of reinforced seams that run down your torso and then along your hip creases, right? So that's going to provide additional resistance to deformation, which then creates additional rebound out of the hole, okay? This takes me about, if I have my suit slippers on, this takes me about 10 minutes to get on, maybe a little bit less now that it's kind of stretched out. But it's a comfortable suit. It does bite a little bit, but that is single ply, right? It's, you know, especially because in USPA, you can't wear like spandex under your suit, under your squat suit, or under your deadlift suit. You have to wear like legless briefs or like whitey tighties or a jock strap. So it's just the material straight against your skin. So it does bite a little bit. I haven't bled yet, and hopefully I won't, but I have gotten kind of marked up from it a little bit. But very supportive, very stiff, right? And again, single ply, that's what you want. You want stiff and tight to provide the compression and the resistance to deformation. So very happy with the suit. This is a size 44 regular stance. So the Titan squat suits come in 2 different stances, just like their deadlift suit, and like their bench shirt actually. They have 2 options with their squats and their squat and their deadlift stances. You can have regular stance, which is slightly narrower, or you can have wide stance, which is obviously outside shoulder width and a good wide sit back type stance. So I have a regular stance squat suit because when I squat raw, I'm much narrower than when I squat in my full multiply kit. So because of that, I wanted something that could be used somewhere in the middle. Because the way I look at it is like if you have a regular stance suit that has legs sewn closer together or straighter as compared to angled out, the wider out you go, the more support you're going to get. Whereas if you have a squat suit that is angled wide, but you're in narrower than what the suit is designed for, you're going to get less support. That's how I think about it. So I'm still outside shoulder width, plus or minus, in my single ply squat stance, just not as wide as multiply. I also wear lifters, so like elevated heel shoes as compared to chucks. I'm probably going to play around with wearing chucks versus the lifters just to see how it feels. But my idea is that because the single ply suit offers less support, you need more quad engagement. So you want something that's going to let you, 1, get your quads in it, let your knees travel forward a little bit, but 2, also provide some fabricated ankle mobility and depth, right? Because USPA, much stricter standards when it comes to depth as compared to like the SPF, APF, APO, that kind of stuff. So you have to sit down below parallel to, or just below parallel on a squat. So I want to make sure that if I'm going to go do the single ply meet projected in April, that I'm doing it right. Okay, but love the suit. I would probably, depending on the finances, get a new one come closer to the meet. We'll see, but it would be nice to have like a training suit and then a competition suit. So it's like brand new, stiff, ready to go. Hasn't been used that much because I can imagine that with time, even though again this is a very stiff material, it's very resistant to stretching. It will wear out over time, okay? But can't recommend it enough for a single ply suit. Next, we're gonna go to my nemesis, benching. So I have 2 single ply shirts. I have the Titan Katana, and I also have an Inzer Rage X. So this is a size 46 angled sleeve. So with the Titan bench shirts, there are angled sleeves and there are straight sleeves. Now, I don't know if that's like how it's sewn together or the way it's put together, I'm not really sure. But the straight sleeve is for flat back benchers. So if you are just a lay down, maybe a slide arch, and then you go through your bench press, the straight sleeve is for you. If you are more of an arch bencher, especially if you're that super aggressive arch like you see in like the IPF, then the angled sleeve is for you. As far as this shirt goes itself, it's made out of the same material as the squat suit and the deadlift suit. I think it's their like NGX plus material or something like that. I've touched 405 in this. I've benched 405 reverse band in this. I tried 405 straight weight to the chest the other day as well. My tricep just wasn't having it, so we couldn't get it. But I think that with learning how to adjust the collar and putting a belt on, all that kind of stuff, we'll get there. Pretty easy to get on, even by yourself. It has a closed like spandex stretchy style back, so it's pretty easy to get on. You still want somebody to help you just to make it easier so you're not like stuck in it. Fairly easy to adjust. The sleeves are a little bit tight, especially on my right arm. The first day I wore it, I lost all feeling in my right hand. I couldn't feel anything in this right hand because the shirt hits that radial artery and cuts off blood supply really hard. This particular shirt I got off eBay, and so the sleeves have been shortened 2 inches, so the cuff sits higher up on the bicep, so it pinches harder. But again, great shirt. Fairly unforgiving groove, I think. Like, you have to stay locked in because there is less support, so you have to find the groove of the shirt very well, and I'm working on doing that. I'm not a great bencher. I'm a much better squatter and deadlifter than I'm a bencher. Even before my neck happened, benching was just not something I was good at. But yeah, great shirt, well constructed. The sleeves are tied into the chest plate or underneath the chest plate. Chest plate's pretty narrow. Collar can be a little bit thicker, but because it's a single ply shirt, there's really not much to expect from that. Okay. Loads really well, bites hard. Like I don't know if I still have the marks, but definitely had marks the other day from benching in this thing. Bites super hard on the backside of the arms because of where the seams sit, like right here. It's got this like torque seam, I think they call it, that runs kind of like circularly across the shirt, or across the sleeve. But overall, very good shirt. I'm very happy with Titan gear so far. I actually have a Titan Super Katana. So they have the Inzer Katana, or excuse me, the Titan Katana. They have the Super Katana, and then they have the Super Katana with low cut collar. So I think the Super Katana is made out of a different, like thicker material. Even though it's single ply, it's a different material. It's like their NGX plus Super or something like that. I think it's got a thicker collar, and then the low cut collar just has a bigger scoop, I think. I haven't tried the LCC yet. I think it might have been what I ordered off eBay. So there's a lot of used like single ply stuff on eBay if you look hard enough. But like the shirt, pretty easy to press in if you can get over the pain of it biting into the back of your arms, but no complaints here. And again, like all, I think Titan single ply stuff is IPF approved, so if I ever want to go with IPF, which I will never do, I can compete there. Okay, so finally, we have the Titan Velocity single ply. Okay, so this is a very similar construction to their squat suit. It just has, I think, pretty much the same thing. It's got the reinforced seams around the hip creases. This is a conventional stance. I've migrated from, so in multiply, it's really hard to get into position for a conventional pull when you're wearing your full kit. With single ply, it's not nearly as bad. It can still be a little bit hard because in single ply, the straps cannot be Velcro, right? They have to be one solid piece construction. So there's less opportunity for customization of tension. So as you get down to position, you just have the tension that the straps are set at, right? So in multiply, it's really hard to get into a conventional stance without like super rounding back, but you can do it. It's just very difficult. So multiply lends itself much more effectively and efficiently to a sumo position, right? Single ply, more forgiving because there's only one layer of material, so you get into a conventional stance much easier. There's still some cat backing that goes on, and I'm learning how to navigate that, learn how to create tension as I'm initiating my pull. If you've watched any of my videos on Instagram, I've become a grip and rip lifter with the single ply stuff, and it's working out well enough so far. So we'll see. But I've used a Titan Velocity 2-ply, so multi-ply suit, over my Titan briefs. I think Titan makes really good stiff gear. I think that if they made a canvas, they would sort of do really well with that. But their poly line, so their polyester line is great, and it's laminated. Their multiply stuff is laminated, whereas most of the other companies are layers sewn on top of each other. So the lamination creates a stiffer structure, stiffer framework, and in my opinion, creates a more supportive brief or shirt or suit. I still like canvas when I squat. I'll always be canvas. But yeah, but again, Titan Velocity deadlift suit, I've pulled 635 from the floor in this single ply. My best raw conventional deadlift ever was 650, so I'm still chasing that. My best multiply sumo pull was like 735, 740, something like that. And that was in training, not in competition. So I'm still chasing some big numbers on that. But yeah, overall great suit. It's got the reinforced seams that run down the torso and across the hip crease for that additional rebound and support. But yeah, can't recommend it highly enough for those of you who are looking for single ply gear. I get most of my stuff, I think, through liftinglarge.com or through eBay because their shipping times are much faster than going directly through Titan. Titan takes like 5 to 8 weeks to get you something for the most part. Lifting Large has a lot more stuff like in stock, and so you can get it much quicker. So like I said, I got my shirt off eBay, and that's where I'm looking to get a lot more stuff if I need it is through eBay because it takes a week versus 5 to 6 weeks, and it's cheaper. So anyway, so if you're in the market for single ply gear, single ply specifically, I can't recommend Titan highly enough. Great material, like the actual fabric itself is fantastic. Very stiff, very supportive, but not like overly painful. I think if I went down, I think this is a size 44 as well. Yeah, this is a 44 conventional. So if I went down to like a 42, that'd be pushing it, and that'd be pretty tight, that'd be pretty restrictive. But the 44 at about 242 works really well for me. So anyway, hopefully this helps take away maybe some of the mystery about single ply gear and about the Titan gear specifically. But again, if you are in the market for single ply powerlifting gear, Titan's the way to go. All right. So as always, thanks for checking in, and don't waste the pain.